the Gorgeous Geeks, and we haven't talked about Vampire Diaries in a while, so here we are.
Yep.
And it's been pretty crazy. The originals have fled the scene. Most of them. The mom has fled the scene after her plot to kill all of her children at the same time failed.
You know, if I was Elena, I would have
Team Elijah. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'd be totally Team Elijah. Like, he's just this loyal vampire
noble
that has.
powerful.
I'm sorry, he has this swagger that is just sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's
so charming.
He is, and you know, like when I first saw
you got your loose cannon Damon, who I love. Damon, I adore him.
I love Damon.
I love Damon. Oh, you don't have no idea. And then you got your blood addicted boyfriend who drinks people until their heads fall off. That is sick and twisted.
And we understand that she has this love for Stefan. You know,
yeah, whatever.
I care for Stefan.
I care for Stefan.
He's like that person you love, you know, that has this addiction.
Like that friend you don't talk about.
Yeah. You know, like you just wish that they get themselves together, and if they did, they'd be an awesome and great person. But Elijah just. I'm sorry.
From a this makes sense standpoint, if you're gonna date a vampire, that just seems like the vampire you'd want to date.
And you know what? And I know people are gonna think we're crazy, but it's not even a thing of favoritism. Because when I first saw him on the show, I'm like, that's the douche that tried to steal Peter Parker from Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2.
You mean Mary Jane from Peter Parker?
Yeah, Mary Jane from Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this dude. But, you know
he really wasn't a douche in the movie.
He wasn't, but still, it's like, why are you kissing him? You're supposed to be with Peter.
I know.
But that's how it was. So, you know, but he just has this thing on the show, and so, but if I was Elena,
and if I dated a vampire,
well, I was moving on to another thing.
Oh,
like at the ball, if I was Elena, I would have murmured very quietly to Elijah, don't drink that. Pretend to drink that wine. Like, I would tell him not to drink it. Because,
or, you know, like, accidentally fall on him and spill the drink. Distract him. I don't know.
I wouldn't want them to be connected. There's a couple reasons why.
I don't know if maybe her spell wouldn't work, though, if they weren't all connected somehow.
I don't think it would have. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I would have still wanted the plan to work and all the other ones to die.
No, the show ain't never been more interesting.
She doesn't write the show. She just lives in it.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I don't want the originals to die. I don't. They're freaking interesting.
They are interesting, but their rage and their fight cannot just end. I mean, it cannot just dissipate into forever, you know. They are a threat. They are bad. They've done a lot of terrible things to them, and they need to be taken out.
You can say the same thing about Damon.
True. He's Stefan's brother.
You can say the same thing about Stefan.
But he's Damon's brother.
Whatever. I mean, you could say that. You could say that they're all bad or they're all this or all that, you know. But you know, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of families out there that would like to see this Salvatore.
Klaus is too powerful.
He is.
Okay, well then.
But he's so interesting.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't miss them.
I would definitely miss them because
I think everyone would definitely miss them. But you can't.
Because I would think, what are you guys gonna do to stop them?
They will find a way.
Okay.
It is a book series. There are lots of interesting things that can happen. They can do.
I don't want them to go away. And then the whole Klaus and Caroline thing was so interesting.
I think that's done now.
I know. I think it's done too. But the moments that they had, I thought was so interesting.
I know.
And then it also helps. He kind of has his accent. He's like, I fancy you, and I'm not going to attempt it. But you know, I just thought it was so you know, like cute and everything. And I love their dresses in the ball.
But you know, I know Tyler is going to come back. I'm still kind of over Tyler and Caroline. Just saying.
Well, you know, it kind of looked like Caroline was about to get her swerve on in the last episode, to be honest.
Oh, with the black dude?
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of looked like Bonnie wanted to look like, you know.
Well, I don't know. It looked like they had a thing going on, but I don't know how much more involved he's going to be now that her mom skipped town again.
I know.
So. And then Jeremy.
Dude, because the skin was pretty buff.
And so, let me talk about this moment, like when all the originals woke up. That was a great episode written by L17 Terry Meyer. Loved it. And then like the dinner scene when they were having dinner, that was like my favorite part in the whole episode. Except for the ending was great. But I just loved how they were just having dinner and we're just talking and stuff. And Elijah was his manners were just like so great, by the way. And but you know when Klaus was just like, I'd like her to settle down, you know, and have a couple kids. How about that nice football player, you know, the blonde one? I thought that was just so great. I thought it was funny.
And it kind of does look like maybe Elena and Matt, they're looking like they can kind of have this moment, but I don't know. I think Matt is, even though he's like totally human and like kind of not a part of it, I kind of think he's so kind of above it. Like he kind of just needs to live his normal life. He's kind of stated it. Please don't let this normal child get killed, you know. And,
well, if they kill him, then there won't be another human aspect.
I've heard a lot of people say, I'm sick of Elena. Why won't someone put a dagger through her heart?
That's the show. They can't kill Elena.
They're talking about how could they keep daggering originals. The show can't literally end or whatever, and they don't literally want her to. They're just kind of sick of her whooping and whining, and you know, her. I don't know. I'm kind of sick of it too myself. She's very nonsensical sometimes. You know. I mean,
teenager to me.
I know she's a teenager.
That's what they do. I know I was a teenager once.
Well, you know what? Not all teenagers are like that, though.
Oh, yeah, because you weren't.
And neither were my friends. So.
Blank face of emotion.
Yes, blank face of emotion. And apparently a lot of teenagers, people out there watching the show, are just kind of sick of Elena and, you know.
Yeah, and the whole, you know, going back and forth.
I mean, she was talking to Matt. She's like, when I met Seven, he's a vampire. And I'm like, I knew he'd never die or leave me. And it's like, oh, there's a sad, meaningful thing behind, you know, because her parents died and she didn't want people to leave, so on, etc. And he's like, what about Damon? He got under my skin. He got under your skin. You would step in her forever, but Damon got under your skin.
They can't get rid of Matt. Matt's like I said it before.
He's the real person.
He's the realism on the show that they need to have.
I strongly agree.
Because everybody else is like the only other humans. Like Alaric has gone crazy. Meredith is.
I still don't like Meredith. I don't care what anyone says.
I thought it was cute last episode because it's kind of like Paul just saved his wife.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was like their first scene together.
I know she would have been the really obvious choice, so it couldn't have been Meredith, you know, because it was too obvious.
It would have been, but I was still thinking maybe because of One Tree Hill,
you know, but
so.
Even though the Ring story is interesting and everything, I don't know. I still kind of.
It will be interesting. This is how the Ring story can progress and be interesting. If Jeremy comes back on a rampage and tries to kill people.
Well, yeah, I thought at the last episode when she was talking to Jeremy on the phone, he was gonna be like, yeah, I'm going out with friends, and then there was gonna be these dead bodies or something.
Yeah, I was hoping. Isn't that weird? I was hoping.
Yeah.
No, I was hoping like he was like going out with like vampire hunters or somebody, or that it showed that he got something from somebody because. You know, because Elena has said this can't be written by Alaric, and I'm just like, you know, maybe what if it wasn't? What if there's other people? What if they were contacted by somebody else? What if there's like a cult thing? Mm-hmm. You know, what if? But I just think it'd be cool, if, you know, because Jeremy has to come back. First of all, Steven's just too cute to keep off the show.
I know.
For one, and he's over 18, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I can keep it going. I don't, illegal. And so, anyways, he has to come back to the show. I just think it'd be cool if he was an adversary.
I'm not saying it's not interesting, that it's not a cool turn of events. I'm just not as captivated with the Ring story as with other things.
Like the originals and Mother Witch.
Yeah, I really want Esther to come back. But I don't know. These last 2 episodes haven't quite engaged me as much, probably because it was so focused on the Ring story, kind of. Maybe. I'm just not as into it.
Well, Cassie...
And I'm kind of not into Elena moping about Stefan.
But you know what? I think it's cool how they talked about, like, in these last 2 episodes, how Damon was telling Stefan that I wasn't there for you to teach you how to control it the first time. Kind of almost taking a little blame of his whole Ripper life. And I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
And so he says, so I'm here for you now. And I think that I think it's very clear that their relationship is clearly the strongest relationship on the show. Mm-hmm. The only thing that got through to Stefan with Klaus's, brainwashed compulsion thing was the fact that Damon was in trouble. Mm-hmm. So, it's clear that they have the strongest bond, and so it's cool to see them bonded together.
It'd be messed up if then you're like, you know what, screw you, Elena. Bros before hoes.
Yeah. That was only they practice that philosophy. So now...
That would be a turn of events.
Speaking of turn of events, they all now have stakes from the Great White Oak.
Well, that's
tree.
That's the next episode.
I know, but, he had gotten that sign. And I was wondering why they talked about the sign in the beginning.
Yeah, I knew it would come back.
I was thinking, why is this sign important? I was like, what is it about the sign? I had thought about that. So I thought it was cool that they that what he had, and then David put on the whole act. But anyways, tell us what you think about what's going on in Vampire Diaries. I'm Katrina.
I'm Christina,
and one of the Merge Skates.